Before the coming of the white man, 200,000 of my people lived in the land that now is Canada. They hunted and fished. They lived here, in balance with nature, the forests, the streams, and the Great Plains. Their shelter was the teepee, or the longhouse, but their home was the limitless land, and its riches were their riches. Proud and strong and confident were my people, for it was their country, and their ways were the ways of their forefathers. Then came the white man, with his axes and his plows and his guns, and he leveled the forests and broke the plains and killed off most of the game. And the ways of their fathers no longer would sustain my people. They had to change to the white man's ways, or die. In a century, their numbers were cut in half. On the reserves where he had placed us, the white man tried to help, and the Indian tried to learn. The white man's intentions were good, but good intentions are not always enough. The reserves, which were meant to protect and shelter during the period of change, left generation after generation to live apart in a changing world. Here the Indian ceased to govern his own affairs. Here, too often, life for the body was bought at the cost of death for the spirit. But in some, pride and strength still lingered. A number of these left the reserve to make their way in the outside world. A few succeeded. Tom Prince is one. And now, returning home, he finds that in his absence, things had changed a little. At the band council meeting, he watched eagerly, for here was something new. Gone were the hereditary chiefs. Now, like free men everywhere, we could elect our leaders. And with more responsibility, we are beginning to make our own decisions. Some still resented not having full authority, for our council decisions must be approved by the government. But this was a beginning, a good start in a good direction. It has only begun, the long journey forward for my people. And perhaps only our sons will reach the end of it. But it has begun. Tom could see it in the faces of his neighbors. There are the doubters, yes. Discrimination disappear? They say never. But most of us are willing to forget the past and travel the road ahead. The sinews of my people are flexing far across the country, which once was my people's country, and now is Canada. Their ancient skills now are finding a place in the world of the white man. On the reserves in the foothills of Alberta, where once the plains riders harried the great herds of buffalo, there is a new hunt and a new quarry. New life growing for my people, for a people whose time seemed to be running out. The ancient skills are in use on the tribal fishing grounds of their forefathers. At Alert Bay on Vancouver Island, Jim Seaweed sails as a ship's captain and partner, with other Indians in a fleet of seiners, men who know the weather, know the water, whose fathers fished the salmon before the ships of Captain Vancouver rounded Juan de Fuca. In the mountains of British Columbia, Dan Hanyus and his brother own and operate a logging company. It's an all-Indian concern and very successful. In such ways, my people are finding on the Great Plains, in the ocean waters, among the pine forests, where once they fished and hunted, a new trophy, pride in their traditions, pride in their skills, their agility, their knowledge. And in the new forests, the steel forests across this country and beyond its borders, you will find my people, the men of the Cognawaga Band, among the best structural steel workers in the world. These things, the ranching, the fishing, the logging, the high steel work, these are perhaps things my people do well by nature. In the future, we will climb higher, in different ways, now that we have started. We believe our future lies with our children. As we get more and better schools, they will be prepared to meet the white man's world, outside the reserve on its own terms. And today, not all Indians attend separate Indian schools. In British Columbia, nearly a quarter of our children study alongside other Canadians. It is here in the mixed schools that the last remnants of discrimination will disappear. Only 15,000 of our children in school 10 years ago. Today, more than 30,000. Only 71 Indians in high schools 10 years ago. Today, more than 1,500. This is the seed of our future. Beside the grade schools and the high schools are the vocational classes, and beyond them all are the colleges. These will be the gates for our long journey ahead, for we know what education can do for our people. Today, we already have our examples. Those who have broken through the barriers of color, apathy, and the old poor schools, to serve in the hospitals, in research laboratories, in the clinics, in the councils of government, and in the courts of our land. No longer vanishing, my people now. They grow yearly in numbers, and as they slowly regain their lost pride and hope, all Canada will gain from the heritage of her original citizens.